Here we are again, another week of Parenting Pause with Leslie Potter. So happy that you are here with me this week to talk about validation. We hear this so often in the parenting world that it's very important to validate our children's feelings. And of course, we want them to feel seen, heard, and understood. But for me, that got a little wonky because I was able to validate what I perceived that I was seeing. But of course, that perception came from my own invalidation, often of my own feelings. So when I talk about validation, I always go back and start with how do we validate ourselves? How do we see, hear, and understand ourselves first? And that's why I created the Safe Seat. And if you're new to listening, you can go to the website at purejoyparenting.com and you can download a free 5-day Safe Seat video series to learn a little bit more about the Safe Seat and how we use it in Pure Joy. What I found was I was really able to do all the things they said outside, validate your child, validate their feelings, but it wasn't working. My daughter, I would say, well, it looks like you're feeling angry. And she would spit at me or slap me or whatever. She never slapped me, but she did hit me when she was really young because I was trying to do a technique. And that technique was, in a way, I wanted to be the best mom in the world. Of course, I wanted to be this conscious mama that was validating my daughter. I wanted her to feel seen, heard, and understood. And I know you do too. And yet, what was missing was that I didn't see, hear, and understand myself so that I could then come alongside my daughter and often, ask her what was going on instead of validate through my perception. This was hard, and it may be challenging for you too. But let's take a moment. Let's just pause. And if you've been told that, you need to validate your child's feelings, and you've tried it, and it's not working as a technique to get them to feel seen, heard, and understood, and then to behave or to cooperate or whatever reason we might be doing it. Because I had a mom the other day that was doing it so well, and it was backfiring. Her daughter was yelling at her and slamming the door, and she felt so hurt inside because she was working so hard, which all of us are as mamas and papas. We're working so hard to give to give our children an environment that maybe we didn't have. So if you didn't feel validated for your feelings and your process of what was going on, I can pretty well guarantee you it's going to be really hard to validate your kid unless you learn to validate yourself first. And that means to validate those vulnerable feelings that come up inside when your child doesn't listen to you or your child doesn't do what you say, or your child lashes out at you. Ooh, I can just feel my heart right there as I say that. And just to validate, of course you didn't like that. And of course that was hard to feel rejected or abandoned or to feel powerless or helpless. If we can go in our safe seats and validate that feeling, not to join in our story that our child is a little brat or whatever we tell ourselves, our child is defiant or they're never going to have a job and work. All the stories that start, those are all distraction. Those are all movements away from the intimacy of really touching into the experience that you are having on a sensation and feeling level in those moments when your child acts in a certain way and it triggers one of your early emotional triggers. So this week, if it does, see if you're willing to get to your safe seat, validate your feelings. Don't believe the story, but validate, of course you don't like that, and of course that hurts, and of course you wish it would be different. Just validate you all the things that you've learned to do for your children, see if you're willing to do it for yourself this week. And then see what happens when you grow yourself up and you come back out, and then you may be able to come alongside your child, find out what's going on for them instead of trying to tell them what's going on for them. And let me tell you, it gets juicy, it gets good, and I promise you, it will change everything in your life. All right, lovies, I hope you have a beautiful week this week, and I'll see you next week on Parenting Paused. Thank you for listening to this episode of Parenting Paused. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor and share it with your mama friends. You can also leave a review wherever you listen, which will support getting the Pure Joy message out. Come on over to the Pure Joy Parenting Practice Facebook page or join me on Instagram to hear more. And don't forget to download your free copy of the Safe Seat course on the Pure Joy website. And while there, check out the offerings page to go deeper in the Pure Joy work.